It's Big Board Sports with Roger Wyland on 104.5 The Team.
Wrapping up the UAlbany football season, a highly successful one, 7-4, 3 wins last year. They get 7 this year, 4-4 in the conference in just Greg Gattuso's 3rd year, and a phenomenal job. And the coach has been with us all season long, and he joins us in studio to put the clamps on a 7-4 season. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Roger. Little Will, how are you?
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm sorry. I meant Zach.
Just when I'm trying to calm things down, the football coach comes in and brings up Will Brown Jr., which is what Jimmy Patsos,
I guess.
which is what Coach Patsos calls Zachary by.
Coach Patsos is just playing head games. Let's go on to the football here.
There is no doubt. All right, let's go.
Oldest trick in the book.
Yep. It's supposed to be fun, but I shake my head at some of this stuff. All right, when the playoffs were unveiled, did you really think you were? How close were you to getting in? How disappointed are you? Are you mad? Are you upset? What's your feelings here of being the first team out?
Being the 25th team for the 24 spots is hard. We felt we certainly should not have been in that situation for 2 reasons. One, we think. Obviously, if we would have won another game, we wouldn't have been in that situation. So ultimately, the responsibility falls on us. Second part is I think our resume over the year was certainly stronger than some of the teams that got in. Not sure it's even that close. But the committees do a lot of different things. They look at past success. Which to me is absurd. But especially in college football, where you roll over every year. But New Hampshire was a team that we beat 2 weeks ago. That they have a better conference record than us, but we have better wins, and we beat them head to head 2 weeks ago. So we felt we had at least had a shot at the 4th spot in the CAA. A couple teams got in. Illinois State was 6-5 and 4-4 in their conference, but they were at the semifinals last year, or in the finals actually, I believe last year against North Dakota State. So I think you run into these things. We're new. It's only it's my 3rd year, but it's third or 4th year at 63 scholarships. Albany's, climbing into the playoff picture is pretty good in 3 years, and we're happy with our season. But I'm disappointed for our seniors. The emotions that they had were real, and I felt bad for those guys.
Yeah, I knew when you weren't going to have the big invite everybody over, watch it, all that you probably thought you were on the bubble and didn't want to go down that road.
Well, there's a lot of things why I kind of didn't want to do it. That to me is a little more. I'm not a real big fan of that, to be honest. I think it's very stage looking, and I've always kind of not liked it. It's a personal thing to me more, and we were a bubble team. I knew that, and there were some other factors. I know. I'll just say I know who some people were that on the committee and have some power, and I know how these things work. I've been doing this a long time. I knew there was a pretty good chance we wouldn't get in. I thought it was 50-50 at best, realistically. But when you look at our resume, FBS win, beat a ranked team in New Hampshire, beat 2 playoff teams. The teams that got in front of us can't say those same things.
You beat Stony Brook to end the season. Highly successful season for you, Coach, at 7-4. We saw E.B. Token Hanks go down on the first drive of that game with a knee injury, and obviously he's only a sophomore. He is a phenomenal running back for you. What is the status of E.B. Token Hanks right now?
They had an MRI this morning. He did tear his ACL, so that he'll have surgery soon. The window will be, there's knowing EB, they're very individual things. There's kids that get back in 6 months. There's kids that take 12 months. We'll evaluate that. He is a extremely, as you know, he is a very fit young man and very strong. That's gives me great hope that he'll be back ready to roll. If he's running full speed in July, then I wouldn't think there'd be any issues.
Okay.
We've seen Mike Nicastro come back, and I don't know what it's going to end up, but Mike Nicastro to me is a kid that should arguably is the defensive player of the year in the CAA.
Yeah.
And we actually had 2 kids I think that are legitimately Players of the Year candidates. I mean, there's nobody has better stats or played more impactful in a game than Mike Nicastro. And E.B. Token Hanks led the conference. Think about that. I mean, he came in and led the conference in rushing in a great league. So, I love where we're at. I love, what we're doing. We have some challenges going forward. But, we played the last 3 or 4 games without 3 of our top 5 receivers with one, a running back. And I think KJ Rogers got better, which is kind of neat. That's the silver lining to injuries. He'll get a great load in the spring. We'll be a better football team next year. And, I'm excited about it. You know me, Raj. I'm upbeat. I was more disappointed for the seniors and with the playoff thing, but that doesn't diminish. We had a really good year. We played. We had one game where I would say we could not have won. But when you look at did not win or weren't as competitive I'd like. But we had Richmond to the wire to the last play. We had Maine to the last play. We were going in to win that game. Delaware, we just kind of. That was a weird game.
Yeah, 5 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, it just was, one of those quirky things that happened. Yeah. So all in all, I'm really pleased with where we're at. I think we grew our fan base this year, which I think is important. And I think you guys are a big part of that. And I thank you. And certainly Mark Benson and the staff at Albany is really working hard. And hopefully we can get more people to come. The last game, it would have been great to have a full house in a big, in a rival game like that. Yeah. But hopefully we can start building that.
We're talking with Greg Gattuso, wrapping up the season, again, 7-4 and 3 wins a year ago. This year they go from 3 wins to 7 wins, so major marked improvement there. Where do you stand with quarterback? You wrap things up with Will Brunson, the redshirt freshman from Myrtle Beach, and he had 2 games in there. Prior to that, you went with Nevin for most of the season. Now, what are you going to do going into spring?
And do what I do all the time. They're going to go in and compete. I think they both have talent, which is really great for us. I think Richmond and New Hampshire have always done a good job. When you see these teams that have depth at quarterback, they find ways to get guys in. And I think we're in a situation where that could happen. Nevin has other skills besides just throwing the ball, and he can run and he can do a lot of different things. So I think, going into spring, they'll compete. I thought Will Brunson was outstanding the last 2 games. Guys, he beat a ranked team away, and he beat, arguably that defense at Stony Brook. North Dakota is the 8th ranked team in the playoffs. They held them to 9 points. I mean, they're good. They're a good team. I think Will Brunson did a pretty darn good job, and he's going to have an opportunity. Right now, I'd say, with that 1A, 1B, whatever you want to say, they're both. I feel good about our depth at quarterback.
You mentioned the word opportunity. I've waited throughout the season to ask you this because I didn't want to put you on the spot during the season. But we've seen NFL scouts at the games throughout the year. Is there any players that you know of that could possibly get an opportunity, not like make a roster or whatever, but will be in camps?
Oh, I think if you get in camp, you have an opportunity to make the roster. I think Brian Parker proved that 2 years ago, and I think Kevin Malloy's a kid that they're very intrigued by. We think Kevin's a center. Not necessarily a tackle. He's not long enough. He's really a good center. If all things were equal, he probably could have been our center easily and very athletic. But the way we were set up, it was better to have him at left tackle. He's very good. I think Rayshawn Clark's going to get himself in camp. I think he played his way in. He's got to continue to develop in some things, but Rayshawn Clark by the end of the year is one of the best players in the conference, making plays and doing great things. I got to give him a ton of credit. I think, his improvement as since when we got him 3 years ago till now is marked. And I think it was really improved from the end of last year to this year. So, he'll get a shot. I think, that's probably, they've taken a look at Abner Logan. He's got the physical look and the tools. But I think that the best bet we have are those 2, I'm very optimistic that both of those guys will end up in NFL camps. And I think, Rayshawn, it'll be a tougher battle for Rayshawn, but Kevin has some skills that the NFL is looking for.
And he's 6'7".
No, Kevin's not that big. If he was, Kevin's probably 6'4"-ish, 6'3".
Oh, is that right?
That's the thing. Kevin's not a long guy. Like, you always hear me say I would like to recruit guys with great length, with long arms, and Kevin's is a little shorter in the arms and for a left tackle or a right tackle. I think
he's got good feet too.
He's got great feet. He's really athletic. He can bend. He does a lot of really good things, and that's the thing we've been telling the scouts is this kid can play center because you can't find centers. Where that's going to be our biggest issue next year. Is when we got here, we said Adam Warbinski go play center, and he just did it for 3 years. So that was great. But we're really working hard to develop a center.
Is that a big priority off season?
Yeah,
O-line.
I think when you see us going forward, when you look at this football team going forward, I think we'll be better in the receiving corps. Obviously getting Brad Harris back will be big, and we're going to improve that area in recruiting. Our tight ends are going to be phenomenal next year. We have a couple of freshmen coming up that I think are dynamite and going to be. They're very good, potentially athletic, and the O-line is going to be the big issue. We had a luxury of these 4 guys for 3 years, and you can't. O-lines will get you beat, and I think we have people. We've been recruiting and preparing for this day for the last 2 years. We're building a group of young guys we like. They just don't have a lot of game experience, and people. I try to tell people O-line's not a position you can rotate guys in. It's not like the defensive line. If I put somebody out for 3 plays at left tackle, it gets your quarterback killed. So, and plus our games are all so close, you just don't have a chance. But you saw great development on defense. I thought Isaiah Powell was one of the most important players in that game Saturday. He drove their all-conference left tackle crazy, which was really good. Brian Dolce, all these guys are growing up. I thought Julian Cox played great the last few weeks, and our back end's going to be excellent with safeties and corners. So I'm very optimistic about us going forward. We just got to build an offensive line, get that thing back going, and
hope that EB has a quick recovery from the torn ACL.
That's obviously a big concern.
A big deal now. But you seem like you're comfortable with Rodgers. If EB's not ready, Rodgers would be your guy to start the year.
Yeah, I think he's showed a lot of improvement. It's hard to walk in and be a star running back, when you have a star running back.
Right.
So you don't get a lot of carries, and we knew the 35, 39 carries is not, that doesn't help us develop the backup, but you're trying to win games and make the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, guys, I get some criticism about some things, but that's certainly not one we should get, because the idea is to win the game, and we're not about rotating. It's about running your best guys. So, but KJ is a good player. We're going to recruit. We're not. We're on top of it, and I believe EB will be back. And if he has to redshirt, then that bodes well for the year, 2 years after that. Yeah. So, I just take the high road and the silver lining, and I'm excited about. Most importantly, I'm excited about what we're doing and where we're at, and we made some noise in this conference this year, and we plan on making more next year.
Yeah, and you made some noise in the community too. I think people are now know that UAlbany football is legit. I think people have been educated more on the CAA conference and just how good that conference is, and I think the fan base is only going to increase moving forward. To be honest,
I think I see signs in the community. I was out at Mohawk Honda last night and seeing my good friend Nick Bonarigo, and a gentleman stopped in the office who really is just a hockey fan, and we were talking hockey. I like hockey. And
Penguins got beat last night, by the way.
Yeah, well, we let them. We got to give them some confidence.
A little 5-2 win by the Rangers last night, Coach.
So, but he was started talking about UA football, and he said to me, it's amazing how much more I hear about Albany football. And I'm not a football guy, but I hear it in the community. So that's great.
Yeah,
we welcome people out to spring games, spring practice, and when that all comes up, it'll be great to get people out. It's fun to watch. And we got great kids. They work in the community. They're good students. There's a reason to watch these good teams.
And you're out in the community, too. People know you. They like you. You've done a great job here in a very short period of time in a very difficult conference. So congrats on a phenomenal season, Greg.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, all of that. Greg Gattuso been with us in studio once a week all season long. We had a great run on My 4 again this year with UAlbany Football Weekly, and I love the college football season. I love it.
We love it, man.
Love the college football, and I can't wait this weekend, man. I'm actually off on Saturday, and I don't know if I can handle this with Kel and the kids, but I mean, you got Ohio State and Michigan. You got Alabama and
Rivalry
Auburn.
Saturday. It's
I mean, this is good stuff. Penn State, got a shot to be in and Greg Gattuso played at Penn State, was on Joe Paterno's national championship team, his first one. Penn State's got a legitimate shot here to get to into the Final Four.
They do. I think Coach Franklin's done a great job, and they do. I think they have a legitimate shot. I believe Ohio State will beat Michigan.
I do too.
And I think that if they can beat, they've got their hands full. Michigan State starting to play well.
Is that game at Beaver Stadium?
Yeah.
All right. So
I've been toying about going, but it's going to be tough. It's been a long time since I've been back for a game, but Coach Franken offered me to stand on the sideline. So yeah,
so that would be cool. I'll take your spot.
I want to tell you this too, and the reason I was mad about Patso saying that about Zach was I always thought you were little Greg, so I was brokenhearted. I think that was the thing that really affected me. In the mind game battle here, I'm the one that was hurt. So. I thought you were my boy, man. I thought for sure you were my boy, Zach. I am brokenhearted, man.
Will Brown Jr. There it is. All right.
That's a big shot for me. Now I'm depressed.
Thank you, Coach.